Welcome to Financially Focused. My name is Dennise Williams, your host, an approved financial coach, and I ask for you to really imagine that you have a team ready to support you, ready to help you make the very, very, very best decisions so that you're a winner. Yeah? Would that make a difference? Could you see in 5 to 10 years how your life would be substantially better because you have awesome, useful, impactful information? Well, that's what we do here on Financially Focused. We bring together the guests, the experts, the persons who can give you the support that you need to make great decisions. Now, here's the thing. We talk about real estate and access to credit and career development. We talk about becoming an entrepreneur, and we're very clear that the age of 25 to 65 is no joke. You've got to make great choices. But you know what? Sometimes we have to take a step back. And we have to look at where we are coming from. We have to look at the philosophies that really guide us. And, you know, we know capitalism, it's about profit first. But then social capitalism is people first using the profits to support them. So what we're going to do is kind of look at where we're coming from in history and the impact on us as entrepreneurs. And we have a very, very special guest to take us down the road of history and social capital and the idea that you can be an entrepreneur even if you're different, even if you don't fit in to the normal society. So we have with us, oh my God, welcome. Yes, Kadamawe Knife holds a PhD in sustainable development and an MSc in economics. And you know, his research focus on social entrepreneurship and the application of dynamic strategic planning techniques in planning, policy, and project development. But guess what? Dr. Knife is also Rastafari. Dr. Knife is also a Garveyite. So we're going to go down that road. We're going to go down that road. So let's talk about you first. Yes. Because your birth certificate says Matthew Harvey. So how did you switch from Matthew Harvey to Dr. Knife?
Then is that switch up more emerge into?
Oh, emerge, all right.
But you know that names I hold true, that names are like mantras, you know? These are things that create a certain kind of energy and should tell you about your own persona as well. See, and so as youth, when you grow and come more into yourself as Rastafari, you want to choose a name that have both functionality in terms of day-to-day functionality, but also in terms of where your own spiritual focus is like. As we say, your name is a mantra. And so I changed my name by default. Originally, my name was actually Knife on campus, and I actually got the name Knife on campus. See,
and university campus.
Butcher's Black Taylor Harman, a hard name.
Yes.
See, and I found out that nobody in the region, no matter where I travel, nobody know I know Matthew Harvey. Everybody knows that's Knife, you know. And as you grow into yourself more now, I was changing my name, I maintained that. Use some things like numerology to look at it as well, but other elements, and gave myself the name that I know have, which have a specific meaning.
But how did that impact your consciousness and your entrepreneur focus?
Yeah, but all right, you know, earlier in your statement, you say about being different and entrepreneurship. In reality, you know, entrepreneurs by nature are disruptive. Yeah, it's different. When you look at what they call the entrepreneurship process, you know, and we look at the business models for entrepreneur, as against the traditional business model where you call a business model the canvas. You have 4, 5, 6 questions you have. How do you create value? Who do you create value for? What's your internal source of advantage? How do you differentiate yourself? What's your unique differentiation strategy? Because that influences how do you make money and your time scope, size, ambition. So uniqueness, your difference, what your key value proposition is, what is unique about it is extremely, extremely important. So in essence, entrepreneurs will argue that even if it's not broken, it can be improved. So I always disrupt steady states and try to improve upon, you know. And so it's about no self and how accepting self is a crucial element because the entrepreneur have the confidence. I mean, look at the characters of an entrepreneur. Them visionary, you know, them persevere, them innovative, them creative. All those about first and foremost accepting self, you know. A person who is not confident enough in self will not go and take any kind of calculated risk to start a venture.
Right.
And remember that the venture is like a manifestation of who you are as well. If you have no passion, if you have no commitment, and you're not connected to what you're doing, you know, have to put the effort in it.
Right.
This means if Bolt never like run, him couldn't run as fast as him run. You know, if Bob never like music and real, him couldn't do the thing him do. If Jamaican people never like doing what them do,
yes,
we couldn't have been the best in what we do. Even a badness.
Yes.
We're the best in badness and the best in goodness. You know, and so the self-acceptance, I think, is a crucial element in terms of driving that entrepreneurial spirit. And you check it. GEM, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, for years would have argued that Jamaicans and Jamaican women in particular are ranked in the top 5 people in terms of entrepreneurship spirit.
Yes.
And startup, especially the Jamaican women.
Right.
So it is no surprise that a country that have a global, very big global cultural footprint, almost I will call a cultural superstate, I call it in Kamawu. Our footprint, what's entrepreneurship based upon? Creativity.
Yes.
And innovativeness.
Yes.
But your creativity is manifested through your cultural space. It reflects who we are.
Yes.
So it's not, say, entrepreneurship is not defined as business, you know. Them say entrepreneurship is a process of creating value by bringing together a unique set of resources in order to seize an opportunity. It might be a business opportunity, it might be a political opportunity, it might be a social, it might be any form of opportunity. Are you able to bring together resources to do these things? And that's what we do extremely well. You know, right. We say we look about Talawa and make fashion. Those are things that speaks to. So Jamaicans naturally are very creative, very innovative, and those are the 2 pillars of entrepreneurship.
All right. Now, again, we're going down the road of history, you know, because if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going. National hero Marcus Garvey, he was convicted of mail and wire fraud. You have gone on record stating that Garvey's conviction, what he got in trouble for, was actually the business model for GoFundMe because they bear striking similarity. So, in regards to social entrepreneurship, was Garvey just ahead of his time?
You know, remember saying, everyone who's a genius is considered to be a criminal all the while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, friends, a genius because you have a break and you challenge what the status quo says. It's just the law make it criminal or not criminal. If that law never existed, it would be criminal. That would be innovative.
Right.
Yes, and so Marcus Garvey, as far as I see it, was the first transnational social entrepreneur in the face of the earth.
Transnational?
Yeah, man, because Marcus Garvey was not only operated in Jamaica. Marcus Garvey was creating an entity that was going to serve the entire African diaspora. So look at what Marcus Garvey did. He created the UNIA. The UNIA is an umbrella organization, and it had a mission. And the mission includes social, cultural, environmental, and economics as well. See, economic value, social value, cultural value, and environmental value. Those are the 4, the quadruple bottom line, which goes beyond what we're speaking about people, craft, and planet, you know. So remember that. And that was from the 1900s.
No internet.
Exactly. No cell phone. And how much people have following you? Millions upon millions of people who are following you globally. See? And so know what he did now. He said, okay, in order to sustain the operations of the UNIA, and Marcus Garvey said this, if you read work of people like Rupert Lewis, you'll find that Marcus Garvey never benefited directly from these businesses because all money was used to reinvest in the mission of the UNIA to support the social program. So he created the Black Star Line Shipping Company, which was the first big transnational shipping company that were going to be operated by black people. How is he going to finance it?
Yes, it's all shares.
Exactly. Which is what a crowdfunding platform represents today.
Yes.
A crowdfunding platform is a space in which you can allow people to invest into the social mission of the organization.
Yes.
And the mission of the organization. And no, it was innovative because that was a way Marcus could not have access to any capital to buy any ship in the early 1900s. World War I just ended, you know.
Yes.
Everybody was buying ships as well, you know. People were targeting Africa. Same thing that is happening now. The pandemic was in the 1920s as well.
There was a Spanish flu.
The exact
1918 Spanish flu.
So the exact thing that happened
With
at
COVID.
the beginning here is the same thing happening in the exact same time period as well.
Yes. So during COVID, people were raising money on the GoFundMe
All
platform.
kind of things people are doing.
Yes.
And so Marcus was not only saying about business. You are looking at a crisis that is taking place and how you create real wealth. But people are also targeting Africa
Yes.
as a source of wealth, similar to what's happening today.
Yes.
And so Marcus said, but if we're African people, why are we not trading with
Yes.
Africa?
Right.
And across the region. So you say, we could buy the ships, you raise the capital in that kind of way. No, that becomes a threat to the status quo. And how do you get rid of a person that said to the status quo, he just seems a madman, or you call him a thief?
Right.
And that was what actually happened with Marcus. Now, I have seen where we have given people, like the brethren from the Grameen Bank, Nobel Prize,
Yes.
for setting up what them call microfinancing.
Yes.
Marcus got that microfinancing institution as part of the UNIA.
Yes.
You had what was called the Black Cross as well. Marcus Garvey had three set of elements. You had the Black Star Line Shipping Company. All this came out what's called the African Communities League. You have three forms of business. The big business, the Black Star Line Shipping Company. The Negro Factory Corporation, which we now call MSMEs. So you have about factories, etc., bakeries, all those things. And we call other enterprises, what we call nano-enterprises. So those three forms of businesses
Yes.
were established under the African Communities League. And
Yes.
the money from those would have supported the mission of the UNIA, which is actually what a social enterprise is.
Right.
With diversified income stream. More than 100 years ago. That was more than 100 years ago.
Right.
And so he was too far ahead of his time. And today, if you look at today, the mission of the UNIA, as outlined by Marcus Garvey for black people, is the mission of the United Nations as reflected in the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
Zero hunger, zero poverty, access to education and something, access to water and sanitation, gender equity, and all these things that we are
So
talking about
Garvey
now.
was just ahead of his time. He was too ahead.
But Jamaica was ahead of the time, that's why we break the record, man.
Wow. all right. So we're gonna move from Marcus Garvey because social entrepreneurship, which he did and went to jail
Those are
for.
just new words, that new concept.
But new, okay, all right. Now, here's one. And I think the answer is obvious, but Mr. Slugger asked.
Yes.
Would you be comfortable in saying that the Rastafari movement is one of the most unique social entrepreneurship platform?
Yeah,
Would
man.
you be
man. Because for people who understand Rastafari first and foremost started a creed, you know. See, and I gotta say it, and it's not necessarily the way it flows, but you know, the sick be nourished, the naked be clothed, the shelters be sheltered, the aged protected, the infant cared for. That's the mission of Rastafari in terms of a social space, you know. So essentially we say all vulnerable groups.
Yes.
You have to look out for the vulnerable group.
Yeah.
But we also promote the idea of self-reliance
Yes.
and collective security. And self-reliance means you have independence of self, which means you have to become economically independent. But we're saying when you work together now as independent beings, you can improve the quality of lives of all people and things still. See?
Yeah, but here's the corollary question, because I have to cut it because it's big.
Yeah.
How have communities and industries and nations profited from the Rastafari movement, even though it's not a recognized business structure?
Well, I argue we're in the age of Rastafari, you know.
Oh, we are? We're in the age of Rastafari? Okay.
The age of information,
Yeah.
the age of knowing, not belief.
Yes.
See? And you'll find that all these principles, I wrote a paper, Rastafari and Ethic for Sustainable Development. We're looking at things which is called deep ecology, where you put the ecosystem at the center and not man. You have what is called the human-centered approach, an anthropocentric approach, where you're looking at only user value and instrumental value of things for a man. Where I say, no, there's an unsustainable kind of practice. When you go into the deep ecology now, you realize that, okay, you have to put creation, where I call aeration, at the center. So there is no conflict between human advancement and creation. No, as a matter of fact, when you work together with creation, you actually advance yourself properly. So the idea of sustainable development, when I was doing my PhD work, was quite easy for me to grasp because that is Rastafari liberty. Yes, if you talk about green technology, Rastafari sing about ital light. Ital light is the use of natural lighting, you know, and air, etc. If you talk about how you're supposed to eat, you know, if you talk about how you relate to plants and animals, we don't kill animals because so we don't wear animal-made product. You know, again, remember you have different Rastafari ones, but ultimately most Rastafari ones would agree with these things because you don't believe in we're not a species. So we can't say this animal have right, but that animal don't have right. So we can't be protecting dog, but still eating that chicken.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So in reality, the philosophy and the lived of Rastafari has been embraced by the globe. But note, Rastafari is not the only people on the earth who have that kind of liberty.
Right.
I can carry to other ancient societies and you can see that kind of liberty. So in reality, as the world becomes more aware and more conscious about living in a framework that is sustainable, you're going to see that the practices mirror and reflect the practice of Rastafari.
But let's talk about the dollar value. What is the dollar value of the Rastafari
community
to society, to culture, to industry, to nation?
And we have not monetized that not only amongst Rastafari people, but in Jamaica generally. So think about it now. Let me give you one quick example. Let us look at the area of what is called nutraceuticals and functional food. The general term would be a herbalist. Taking the actives out of plants to deal with certain things. So, for example, we might take an active out of rosemary plant to put in our food and argue that when you consume this food, it reduces stress and prevents headaches. There is a $240 billion US industry.
Yes.
But the rest of man is always a herbalist. He was always using plants, he always using roots.
Yes.
We don't have a business set up, but now you have major companies.
Right.
Look on the ganja industry.
Yes.
Remember now, that ganja, really, and let me say this quite clearly and categorically, the ganja plant is going to be and is the most important plant on the face of the earth right now, and I can say it without any question. I mean, the data was there from 100 years ago is even more important now because of climate change. Let me tell you what I mean. In terms of climate change, you think about building design, housing design, materials that are being used. You want breathable materials that are strong, you think about hempcrete. If you think about clothes and the concerns about microplastic that you find in things like that have synthetic linings like polyester and those things, because they're finding microplastic in people's system now. What are different materials they're going to use? They want to use a material that is, you don't need a lot of pesticides, it's climate friendly, so you talk about hemp, talking about linen, and to a lesser extent you're speaking about cotton as a fabric. Yes? If you think about food, in terms of nutrient, because of nutrient density, you have to think about the hemp seed. I mean, if you're thinking about, maybe there's so many things, different kind of products that are being used for man, but more importantly, if you're going to think about how climate change affects people and their skin, and products for your skin, you have about using the oils on the ganja plant to prevent things relating to skin cancer, and you have about things for both internal or external use. There are other plants that are important, but there's few plants that can feed and clothe and shelter yourself and have the diversity of products that can be made like the ganja plant. The next plants I'm thinking about is like a coconut plant or a bamboo plant, but as a plant in and of itself, with both the male and the female and what it can do. No, that is a major contribution that Rastafari have made to the globe, but has not generated any wealth. Jamaica in particular.
What about culture? What about music?
So there's it now. In the national MSME policy that we have written, we have highlighted a couple of areas, what we call the orange economy, which is the culture and the creative industries, the blue economy relating to ocean, the green economy relating to agriculture and energy, silver and senior entrepreneurship. Now when you look at the orange economy is where the cultural space. So you talk about the music, you talk about the food, you know, and all those other practices. Now, we have not at any point in time taken the culture and the creative industries to be anything serious. We have developed several strategic plans, yes, but we have not allocated the resources to do it in the way we should. We have a good minister. I'm going to deal with politics. But Babs Grange is somebody who I think fit the ministry because of her historical experience as somebody in that space. But they now give Babs no money to run the space properly. So she's working so hard to get the things done. But it's like you stress out the sister because when she needs the resources now, she have to go try to go to the next one to get it. No, you can't do that. As I argued before, Ed Bartlett, who is the Minister of Tourism, should be the best friend of Babsy. Because without Babsy, he have nothing to support, to spend.
Right.
If you don't have a Babsy Grange ministry, you don't have a tourism ministry, you know. Because people don't come to Jamaica to eat sun and sea and sun, you know. It's Jamaican culture. And the Minister of Culture is Babs Grange.
Yes.
That means that the TEF, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, how do you enhance tourism? By supporting the things that the tourists consume, which is in Babs' ministry.
Yes.
So you should have a very clear MOU
Yes.
between the TEF
Yes.
and Babs' ministry.
Right.
And link back into the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
All right. So we've looked at our history, a little bit of our
Yes,
history.
yes.
And we look at really social capitalism as a way
Yes.
of, you say we're in the era of Rastafari.
Rastafari, yeah.
We looked at Marcus Garvey
Yes.
as being very far ahead of his time.
Way ahead.
Yeah, but we're back to what he's practicing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah? What is your general message, yeah, to society to create, move away from silos and to create opportunities for wealth creation among different sectors? Because we're talking about entrepreneurship
Yes.
as being disruptive,
Yes,
as
yes,
being
yes.
different, but doors need to open.
But yeah.
What's your message?
All right. Up front, you have a talk at the end of the stream. It makes no sense. We have extremely good policies that are not implemented. I tell you, and I look at, again, we're a part of developing the policies of 2018 and the current one. Really good policies, and those are linked and based on international best practice from the OECDs. That's how we wrote the policy. We have a really good MSME policy. In the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, you have at least 20 entities that are there that offer support to the MSME sector. Again, I'm going to repeat this consistently. We need to support those entities. Ensure that the JBDC and the other people, the Bureau of Standards, SRC, which is not necessarily the Ministry of Investment, but you have supporting institutions that need to be properly resourced to move the thing forward. But you must also appreciate the brain of your own people. Meaning now that I find that ministers are too far removed from the reality. And so, when you have the workers in the organizing and the ministries who have really good ideas, who actually work together across ministries, they are frustrated because if they're working across ministries, because there's no framework that is supporting that in a formal way. Them can't access what they need to access to get it done. It becomes too bureaucratic. So you have to get the head of the stream to buy into Jamaica's development. We have a good vision. I don't know if people read the Vision 2030 document, with the 4 goals and the 15 outcomes. Really good document. Look at the medium-term socio-economic policy framework produced by PIOJ. Those are really good guidelines. But I am convinced that the minister them don't read it, especially the Minister of Finance. I'm very serious about it. Either them read it and don't care, or don't read it, because they couldn't see such a good document. You couldn't understand the passion of Jamaican people working in these ministries and these institutions and the commitment, and you're not supporting it. It's almost impossible. It is non-Jamaican to be like that.
Wow, non-Jamaican.
Yeah, man. I'm convinced enough of them will have birth certificate for Jamaica. They're not Jamaican at all, because, and then they have a style now about low-hanging fruits. I don't use those kind of cliches, man. I come from a country where if a fruit is low-hanging, I don't pick it, I can't have it where it might not good bad. We have too much, we create too much. We make things that seem impossible possible.
Yes. Yeah.
So all I say is just support the people where they need to get the support. And it baffles the whole, we have a lot of conversations about these things and don't do anything about it.
All right. So let us close with that. Give me 2 or 3 things that an entrepreneur can do tomorrow in the space of us being different, disruptive. 2 things, 3 things they can do tomorrow to build up themselves.
All right. Your network is an indication of your net worth.
Yes.
So start for new institutions, because again, despite the lack of resources in many institutions, and still have a lot of services that they offer.
Yes.
That a lot of people in Jamaica don't know about. See, again, because I read the policy, I get a chance to unearth some of these things. For example, there's also things like bankruptcy and insolvency systems in place to support people.
Yes.
There are access to grants through different state institutions. There are access, maybe in a place like TAJ, the formalization of the operations is extremely important, because when you're formalized, it allows you to access these resources because I'm not giving resources to people who are not a part of the structure. So you have to formalize. So networking important.
Yes.
And formalization. But these same entities
Yes.
will help you to formalize your operations. That's what they are there for. So SDC might help you to register your business name. Seeing a place like Kingston Creatives, who focus a lot on the creative space, they get funding from I think like an IDB project to help to register creatives because it's a big part of their work. You know, a JBDC will help you because a JBDC can point you to COG and show you exactly what you need to do. So all these people are there. If you talk about organizing your books, TAJ, let me tell you what happened. In Jamaica, it's because the government operates in such a way that people don't trust them. The parliamentarians, them don't trust, but it flows over into the state entities. So a man mix up parliament with the state. So when a man hear TAJ now, the first thing coming to my mind is that the Minister of Finance will tax him. But it's not that, because the TAJ have so much programs to help small business, you'll be shocked.
Yes.
They will come to your yard, you know, to look at your business and help you to structure it properly. You know.
Right.
The TAJ have those services.
Right.
See, when you talk about all the consumer affairs commission, when a man hear consumer affairs, the businessman frightened because them things say people complaining about in business. Not knowing that the consumer affairs have a system to show you how to offer so much customer services and business practice that you have no challenge with any customer.
All right. So what we're saying is tomorrow,
yeah, man.
To the entrepreneur.
Know people, man.
Get out there and build a network.
Yep, and
formalize your business.
And tap
get
into
your
the
books
services.
in order and tap into
the existing services.
The services that the government has, the different agencies.
Yeah, man.
Wow. That is fantastic. My name is Dennise Williams. We took a little detour from the usual financial planning, credit repair, real estate. We went down the road of history. We looked at the philosophy of Rastafari, but we fundamentally underscored that entrepreneurship is about being different, being disruptive. We use Marcus Garvey as a very innovative example. And, you know, please follow the links, look below, visit the website. We're here to help you. And again, take action, get ready, and we will talk to you in another conversation.